All right, let's talk about completing the square. And it's a way to make a trinomial that becomes a perfect square trinomial. Now, to understand this, we need to go the other way first. So let's take two binomials that we would multiply. Okay, and let me say x plus 5 and x minus 2. Now you would FOIL that. You'd end up getting x squared plus 3x minus 10. Okay, the factors of these are not the same. They're not exactly the same. It's not a perfect square trinomial. But sometimes we have perfect square trinomials. Let's see what it looks like going this way. Let's say I have x plus 3 times x plus 3. When I FOIL that, I'm going to end up getting x squared plus 6x plus 9. Let's look at another one, okay? And we're going to recognize a pattern here. Let's say I have x minus 5 times x minus 5. And when I FOIL that, I'm going to get x squared minus 5x, which is minus 10x, plus 25. Okay, and I'll do one more. Let's do x minus 7 times x minus 7. Okay, and I'll get x squared minus 7x is minus 14x. And then negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Okay, look at these three examples. Now the first one, we normally write it like this: x plus 3 squared. The second one we normally write x minus 5 squared. And the third one we normally write x minus 7 squared. You notice a pattern. Well, the middle term is always double this number. Look at this one. The middle term is double this number. The middle term is double this number. And the last term is the square of that number, right? So in this case, 3 squared is 9. In this case, negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. And in this case, negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. So you see what's happening is to find this number in brown, we're going to take half of the middle term. And then to get the number in blue, we're going to square it. So the number that goes right here, let me get a nice purple. The number that goes right here is half of the middle term, half of b, squared. Okay, mathematically we wouldn't write out HALF. We'll put half of b squared. That's what goes here. Okay, you may also see it written like this: b over 2. That's taking half of b squared. So now let's look at completing the square. If this was x squared minus 6x plus what would give it that perfect square? Well, we take half of negative 6, which is negative 3, and then we square that. So this is negative 3 squared, which is 9. Let's look at a few more, and they're going to make sense after we do a few more. X squared plus 8x plus blank. X squared minus 14x plus blank. X squared minus 22x plus blank. And x squared plus 2x plus blank. All right, so to complete the square, you're taking half of the middle term. So in this case, it's half of 8, which is 4. Square the 4 to get 16. All right, and if I factored that, I would get x plus 4 squared. All right, look at the next one. Half of negative 14 is negative 7. Negative 7 squared is 49. And if I factor that trinomial, I would get x minus 7 squared. Okay, you might want to pause the video, see if you can answer the next two. Half of negative 22 is negative 11. Negative 11 squared is 121. Okay, if you're putting it into your calculator, make sure you put a negative inside the parentheses, because negative times negative is a positive 121. Notice these numbers are always positive. And then half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. All right, so if I factored this trinomial here, it would be x minus 11 times x minus 11, x minus 11 squared. This one would be x plus 1 squared. And where does this come in handy? Well, look at the standard form of a circle. Sometimes we need it to be in this form, so we can find the center of the circle. Okay, so a lot of times they're going to give you the equation of a circle. You'll have to complete the square for the h and for the k. All right, I'm going to go and work some of those right now.